Rogue One is probably the strangest mode to come out for zombies in a while. While I am a little late to the party, Rogue One dropped in Season 4 when nobody was expecting something like this. And unlike a bunch of different modes between Black Ops 6 and 7, this is a permanent game mode. And since there's hopefully no risk of losing it, I thought it would be fun to review it to see if it's truly a good mode or a rather forgotten experience. So without further ado, this is Rogue One and Black Ops 7 Zombies. But first, let's go over what this mode is supposed to be, because this is actually based on a genre of game. Rogue One is based off roguelike games, which is based off the game Rogue. Rogue is a dungeon crawling RPG that utilizes procedurally generated dungeons that you will have to traverse through in a turn based combat system, and once you died, you have to start all over again. There was no outside progression in Rogue. Once your game ended, you would be set back to zero. While there are some games that are truly roguelike, most modern roguelike games have outside progression, giving them the term roguelites. Believe it or not, COD Zombies used to be a true roguelike game. From World at War to Black Ops 2, there was no outside progression, so you would have to build up everything in one match, and if you died, you would have to start from the very beginning. It wasn't until Black Ops 3 where COD Zombies became a roguelite, with the addition of weapon kits that let you put attachments on weapons you leveled up, and gobblegums that you earn through your player level and currency you earn throughout the match. COD Zombies had transformed from a roguelike to a roguelite, which continued with similar systems in Black Ops 4. Cold War went into the roguelite direction even further by not only carrying forward weapon kits, but also allowing you to permanently upgrade various parts of your gear with etheric crystals, making your perks, field upgrade, ammo mod, and weapons stronger in the process. And finally, Black Ops 6 and Black Ops 7. Just like with Cold War, you are able to upgrade various parts of your progression, but you are only able to choose 2 to 3 upgrades at a time for each piece of equipment, toning back how powerful you can become. Now that we have covered the history of roguelike games, let's finally go over Rogue One and Black Ops 7 Zombies. Rogue One is a mode where your goal is to survive for as long as you can with the resources you are given. Once you finish the round, you will be shown 3 to 5 podiums that will have different rewards you must choose from. These rewards can include a new random weapon, perk, ammo mod, field upgrade, augment, pack crystal, ether tool, and even wonder weapons. It's random what choices you are given, and it's up to you to decide what reward you need the most. After choosing your reward, you are teleported to a new area, where you must survive another round, choose a new rewards, and rinse and repeat. Along with that, every 5 rounds a boss will spawn, and depending on what mode you are playing, you'll have to fight one of 3 unique boss fights at round 20. After you select Rogue One, you are able to choose one of 5 different modes. 3 of these modes are 3 bosses you choose to fight at round 20. These bosses are targets, Lucy, Mal, and Mo, each with their own unique fight, and after defeating them will end the match. The 4th mode in Rogue One is All Targets, where you fight all 3 bosses in the same game at round 20, 30, and 40. And the final mode is Endurance, where you try to reach the highest round you can. Now you might be thinking, why would you choose to do anything but Endurance? This is where permanent rogue unlocks come in. After reaching certain milestones within these modes, you'll be given permanent rogue unlocks. These unlocks will give you more podiums and open up new potential rewards. These new potential rewards include armor upgrades, pack crystals, ether tools, and wonder weapons. Now because you can only progress your loadout through the podiums, that means all purchases on the map are disabled, but you still earn points and they do have one use. Chompy has been given this new use. Instead of consuming your weapons to give you salvage, you're now able to spend 30,000 points to get a new upgrade alongside the podiums. If you don't already have a self-revive, Chompy will give you one, and if you do have one, he will give you perks, pack crystals, and ether tools, giving you a second way to progress throughout the match. The last thing to mention is that you have unlimited ammo, excluding wonder weapons, so you don't have to worry about running out of it. And that's all of Rogue One and Black Ops 7 Zombies. A very out there concept with a couple of interesting ideas for a mode, but how good is its execution? Let's find out, starting off with the positives. And what better way to start off than with the choices you have to make in a match? With a normal game of zombies, unless you go down, you never really have to worry about the choices you make, because you can always get more points. But in Rogue One, you have to survive with whatever you choose, and your situation gets even worse if you go down, making it feel like your choices matter more than ever. This is especially true for boss rounds, where if you don't choose correctly, you might not be able to make it to the next round. The next positive I would like to go over is how experimental you can get with the mode, more specifically with the augments. In Rogue Run, your preset augments don't work. Instead, after you claim a piece of gear, its augments can show up as rewards. What augments appear is completely up to luck, and you can end up picking an augment you have never used before, letting you experiment with augments you have never experienced before. While augments in Black Ops 6 and 7 are a great addition that I, and many others, welcome into zombies, there is one big flaw with them: the lack of experimentation. Because you cannot earn them in a match, and it's difficult to change augments swiftly, like having loadouts for them, it's difficult to use and experiment with them, resulting in most of the same augments being ran every game. But with Rogue Run, you're given the chance to use augments that you haven't ran before, and potentially find new favorites that you would have never thought of before. And that's all of the positives I have for Rogue Run. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it's a nice addition with a couple of interesting ideas. But unfortunately, it falls short on what it does right, and as we'll get into it, there is quite a bit that I just don't think the mode does right. So, without delaying the inevitable, let's get into the negatives. When I first played Rogue Run, I was surprised with how difficult it was. It took me a couple of tries to get the first set of upgrades, and I tried to highlight that in the positives with the choices you have to make to survive. But with the more permanent upgrades you acquired, the easier the mode got, and by the time you got all of them, it becomes too easy as a result. It's kind of ironic, because the very thing that turns it from a true roguelike experience to a roguelite makes the game easier as a result. I believe that if you were to remove these upgrades from the mode altogether, it would make the mode better as a result. But as it is, there's no way to increase the difficulty. No rampage inducer, no modifiers, and you can't even turn off the upgrades you have. If they continue to update Rogue Run, making it more difficult would go a long way, even just optional difficulty. The next negative with Rogue Run is the pacing. This isn't as noticeable in the early rounds, when you have a lot to upgrade, but in the higher rounds with more permanent upgrades, it really starts to show. This is because of the intermission that happens between the end of a round to the beginning of a round. When the final zombie dies, you will get a flash, after which you will be teleported to select your upgrades. Then you will get teleported again to the next area. Then you have to wait for zombies to start spawning. Because while all of this is not much longer than a round transition in standard zombies, in Rogue Run, most of the time you are just waiting for the game to let you have control again, making the process more drawn out and kills a lot of the momentum. I think two potentially good fixes would be: 1, completely get rid of the white flash in the first teleport, since you're just teleporting to an area you're already in. And 2, using the jump pads to go to the next area instead of the second teleport. We are playing on Ashes of the Damned, why not use the transportation on the map, with the exception of the boss arena? The next negative that comes with Rogue Run is the lack of variety for gameplay. With the exception of your progression, this mode plays very similar to the standard survival mode. This feels like the perfect opportunity to use more enemies, like regular doppelgasp or shock mimics, or even enemies that haven't made it into Black Ops 7 zombies, like manglers and disciples. This mode is in dire need for challenge and variety, and adding more enemies to the roster during each round would fix both of these issues. The final issue that hurts Rogue Run is the lack of rewards and incentives to play it. Because aside from the calling card you get for completing the all targets mode and some gobblegums, there isn't any rewards that the mode has to offer. While I do think that new modes don't need tons of new rewards and things to do, so long as the mode itself is fun. But on top of everything, this just feels like a nail in the coffin for any long-term investment for the mode. To wrap things up, I originally went into this review not knowing how to feel about Rogue Run. I started off as impressed, then curious, and then disappointed the longer I played it. But the longer I thought about it, the more I realized the potential for this mode. It has a lot of flaws, but I see what this mode can become: a challenging, enemy-diverse, true roguelike experience. With new reintroduced enemies, like mimics, disciples, and manglers. New modifiers that truly shake up the survival experience. Or new arenas like the traversal areas in Ashes of the Damned. There's a ton of ways you can make this mode a true roguelike experience. I realize that these are just my ideas for the mode, but these ideas just show how much potential this mode has to truly stand out. But unfortunately, I believe nothing will be done with this mode in the future, because that's how it typically goes with these new modes. They get introduced, not much gets changed, if anything at all, and then they either get abandoned or take it out of the game entirely. It's a shame, because I see the potential this mode has, and I want it to succeed. But sadly, I believe this mode will just be forgotten with time. That's everything for me today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.